And there we have it, the fireworks display at the end of a long and historic inauguration day yesterday after Joe Biden was inaugurated. The 46th president of the United States, Kamala Harris, inaugurated as not the 46th vice president, but as the first female vice president, the first woman of color vice president, the first African-American vice president. She broke a lot of barriers just yesterday. And the Biden-Harris administration hit the ground running yesterday. We're going to talk about some of the inauguration recaps, some of how they hit the ground running, what they got done, what they are planning on getting done today and in the coming days. All of this and more on the AM Report. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Report. I'm Alex Mahajer. It is Thursday, January 21st. If you're watching on the HAPS app, website, or platform, click the award button. Let us know you're enjoying it. If you're watching on Reddit, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. What were your thoughts on the inauguration? How are you feeling today in Joe Biden's very first full day as president, and to no longer have Trump be in your airspace? Let me know. Leave a comment. And a lot of people joining already. Commenter saying you feel wonderful. Hello, Michelle Alexander from Cleveland. Good to see you this morning. Pablo de la Hoya saying hello from Los Angeles. Let's see. I can't read without my glasses. I'm sorry, but I'm seeing a lot of comments chiming in. Good to see you're all doing well this morning. I slept well last night, says Michelle Alexander. Very good. Yes. I feel like I slept for the first time in years. Another commenter, Jen, is saying, I feel like I can now breathe. Yeah, and thank you so much for the Super Heart Award, Marsha. Very much so appreciated. And let's sort of get into it this morning. So Joe Biden was inaugurated. We have, it was a pretty beautiful ceremony. It was pretty historic because there was a lot of security ramped up at the event, but we still had the pomp and circumstance of our normal inauguration. So watching from home, it felt almost the same. And we have some highlights from the event. Here is Joe Biden. Let's see. Oh, let's hear from Amanda Gorman, poet, and she's a 22-year-old youth poet laureate, and she gave a speech that really was maybe the highlight of the event. A lot of people are talking about it. Amanda Gorman, just a clip from her a little bit.
Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated.
That is 22-year-old Amanda Gorman giving a beautiful speech. A lot of comments chiming in about her. Oh, she was outstanding, says Michelle Alexander. Thanks, Pablo, for the High Five Award. Thanks, Michelle, for the Appreciate You Award. If you're watching on the HAPS platform, click the award button. Let us know you're enjoying it and what you thought of the inauguration. Santa Clarita said she loved Amanda. Amanda, yes, I mean, it was very moving. And then, of course, Joe Biden gave a speech that was very conciliatory, talking about how he would govern for everybody, including the people that didn't vote for him. And this speech was getting a lot of praise from Republicans today for being very, unifying rather than divisive. And as we recall, 4 years ago, Donald Trump took his to the inauguration stage, talked about American carnage, and throughout the duration of his presidency, really looked at his presidency as a presidency for red states and pandered to red states and punished blue states for not voting for him and talked about blue states and red states, which is absurd because he's the president of the United States. And so I was really glad to hear him not talk about the negativity or the divisiveness, but talk about the real challenges that we face and to address what he called the uncivil war between the partisan rancor and the divided nature of the states right now. Here's Biden's uncivil war bit.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day. The will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. Here we stand, we're 108 years ago at another inaugural. Thousands of protesters tried to block brave women marching for the right to vote. And today, we mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. The answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this.
The end to the uncivil war, said President Joe Biden in his first remarks as president. And, you know, Joe Biden got straight to work yesterday. It was pretty astounding. But before we get into that, I do want to acknowledge Kamala Harris as our new vice president, and wanted to play just a little bit of her inauguration, taking the oath here, because really history made. And it's no matter your political affiliation, to see a woman of color, the child of immigrants, becoming the vice president of the United States yesterday after hundreds of years of it being a white man was very, very moving and historic, and something to be proud of and celebrated, to celebrate the diversity that makes us America. This is what makes America great, in my opinion. And let's see Kamala Harris becoming the vice president of the United States.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
There it is. What did you guys think of seeing Kamala Harris sworn in as vice president? Did it give you, did the weight of the historic nature of this make an impact on you? And, you know, were you thinking about the shoulders that she stood on? For me, I was thinking about the suffragist movement, that Shirley Chisholm, Hillary Clinton, I was thinking about the women, the line succession of women in history who had really moved to make this possible. And before 2016, it was totally unheard of that a woman would run for president. And then somebody did, won more votes than any other presidential candidate in history at that time. And now we have a female vice president. And I think it's all very moving. So what did you guys think? Kamala Harris, your new vice president. And so Michelle says, I think that made me cry more than anything. Tears of joy, as she made me feel like she represents all women of color, especially. Absolutely. And yeah, it was very, very moving. And look, the Biden-Harris administration got straight to work yesterday. He hit the ground running. Joe Biden hit the ground running with 17 executive orders yesterday, ranging from coronavirus relief to immigration, and he sent an immigration bill to Congress. So he really did get straight to work. These executive orders ended the Keystone XL pipeline and other oil and gas contracts in national wildlife areas. We know that it's a wide range of actions from the get-go, mandating masks in public areas and in interstate travel, reforming ICE, creating an ethics standard for federal government employees, an ethics doctrine, so that people in the federal government can no longer profit off of their employment with the federal government. It was a broad range of actions that really hit the ground running, and more executive actions are planned today with regards to COVID-19. He announced today 10 more executive actions that he's planning to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. This will include mandating masks, direct agencies to use wartime powers to require U.S. companies to make N95s and swabs and other equipment. It's going to ramp up testing, accelerate the pace of vaccinations, provide more funding and direction to state and local officials. And the goal is to vaccinate more people, safely reopen schools and businesses and travel, as well as slow the spread of the virus, according to the White House. So more executive actions announced today. And we're learning that the Biden administration really inherited a mess with the distribution strategy of the federal government with regards to coronavirus. We're learning today from reporting that the Biden administration, we had been hearing that they weren't sure what they were going to inherit because there had been so little communication between the former administration and this one, that the transfer of power really wasn't well done in terms of his predecessor. And they weren't sure what they were going to inherit, what they were going to find. And we were hearing a lot of nervousness, anxiety about what the Biden administration was going to walk into once they had full access to the information about their distribution strategy. And as we're learning, the Biden administration is inheriting no coronavirus vaccine distribution plan to speak of from the Trump administration. There was zero plan. Sources are telling that to CNN, and it's posing a new significant challenge to the White House. So Biden is promising 100 shots and 100 million shots in 100 days, 1 million people per day, and we'll see how that pans out. But the Trump administration left behind no distribution strategy for this president. So that tweet was also the tweet today from Joe Biden talking about the need to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic now and swiftly. So we are looking forward to hearing more about that as the days go by here in the first few days. So this has been the AM Report for Haps News, the network of Now. We are live every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern with all of your quick political news and headlines to get your day started right. If you like this journalism, if you like this content, please consider sponsoring it. You can do that at haps.tv/@Alex, where you can become a recurring monthly sponsor or buy me a cup of coffee, or you can click the award button, let us know you're enjoying it, and at the end of the day, you can also just click subscribe and get a notification when we go live. We'll be back tomorrow morning with Miranda Yaver, political scientist, postdoctoral scholar, to discuss this week's events, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye-bye.